Hey everyone! Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Jane, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Young and the Restless, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. Victoria's mission, Martin and Traci's showdown and Chance's shocker. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of April 7th to 11th reveals that Victoria Newman will tackle a mission while Martin Laurent and Traci Abbott have a showdown. Chance Chancellor will also face a shocker, so let's talk about what's coming up in Genoa City. For starters, Victor Newman will propose a deal with Audra Charles, one that involves her dream Newman position in return for blowing up Kyle Abbott's life. Audra will give Victor's offer some serious thought, but how much will she tell Nate Hastings once he spots her meeting with her former boss? As for Victor, YNR spoilers say he'll promise that punishment is coming for Kyle. Victor will have multiple reasons to go after Kyle since he's dating Claire Newman and trying to thwart his plans at Jabot. Meanwhile, Victoria will tackle a challenge as she works to avoid repeating history. Since Victor controlled Victoria's love life in the past, she may become increasingly invested in making sure Victor doesn't do that to Claire. Next, let's talk about Chance and Summer Newman's romance since it's been barely hanging on for a while now. After Chance convinces Summer to get honest about her lingering feelings for Kyle and her jealousy over his relationship with Claire, it looks like that will mark the end of Summer and Chance's attempt at love. Chance will also connect the kidnapper to a psychiatric clinic in Paris through a payment for the gas expulsion device. Once Chance updates Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers on that news, they'll strengthen their commitment to getting justice. Although it'll take some time for Phyllis and Sharon to feel certain about Alan Lawrence's guilt, it looks like they'll eventually team up against him. That's especially true since Chance is about to discover a shocker, perhaps one that points to firm evidence of Alan as the kidnapper or even proves he's indeed Martin. Chance may quickly make some predictions about the fresh danger on the horizon. After Ashley Abbott makes it back from Paris, Jack Abbott will fill her in on all the latest family drama. Ashley will flip out as she realizes Martin may be the twin who actually survived the balcony fall. Traci will put herself in a risky situation when she confronts Alan alone following his return to Genoa City. This should turn into an unsettling showdown as Traci works to pry some big confessions out of Martin. Will Martin threaten Traci when he realizes she's trying to trap him? Will Sharon and Phyllis somehow save Traci since their partnership's about to heat up? The Young and the Restless spoilers say the week of April 7th to 11th will bring some surprises, so don't miss all the chaos. Victor destroys Kyle, Summer's heartbreaking reality, Sharon and Phyllis's audacious step. According to spoilers for the upcoming 2 weeks of The Young and the Restless, April 7th to 18th, Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers are planning a daring action, and Victor Newman will swear to destroy Kyle Abbott. Let's start with Summer Newman and what's going on during the week of April 7th to 11th, as she will also have to deal with an unpleasant reality. Chance Chancellor will eventually persuade Summer to acknowledge that she is still infatuated with Kyle since he can see that she is still fixated on him. Summer will vent all of her pent-up rage by going on a tirade about Kyle's relationship with Claire and how much she wishes her cousin was no longer involved. They might decide on a more permanent split this time around since Chance would imply that his own romance with Summer is unfair to both of them. Of course, there will be more drama in the upcoming episodes than just Chance's personal life. Detective Chancellor will also reveal some crucial hints in the kidnapper case. Their flight schedule might be delayed once Nick Newman consents to travel to London with Sharon and Faith Newman. This is because Sharon and Phyllis will need to attend to more urgent issues in Genoa City. Chance will continue to investigate and might eventually uncover some Martin Laurent evidence when a cash transaction at a mental health facility in Paris raises additional Alan Laurent, also known as Martin Laurent, suspicions. Traci Abbott will attempt to raise the alarm, most likely to Jack Abbott once Alan returns home, while Chance delves into another aspect of the story. But this story is about to take some unexpected turns. After Traci confronts Alan, also known as Martin, and attempts to get the facts, her life may be in jeopardy. Ashley Abbott will be included in this plot when Jack introduces the twin switch notion because she is also scheduled to return from Paris. In the end, Ashley will come to terms with the possibility that it is true and become terrified of the danger Traci may be in. According to YNR spoilers, Sharon and Phyllis's partnership will once again be the main focus. They may be about to assist in saving Traci since Phyllis and Sharon will be planning a daring maneuver. Victor, on the other hand, will make a resolute forecast about damaging Kyle. As we all know, Victor is a man who keeps his word, so he will assure Kyle that punishment is on the way. In addition, Audra Charles will need to consider Victor's attractive business offer and determine if she is prepared to unseat Kyle in order to land the ideal position. Audra should formally decide during the week of April 14th to 18th. Will Audra put everything she has into supporting Victor, possibly destroying her friendship with Nate Hastings in the process? Targeting Kyle could backfire since Audra might end up crossing some borders she didn't intend to. Naturally, Kyle and Claire Newman's relationship may suffer as a result of Audra and Victor's scheme, but Kyle's own deceit may also play a significant role in Claire's decision to turn against him. What will happen to Martin once his true identity is revealed? Hopefully, Sharon and Phyllis will get the opportunity to confront their captor, but if all goes wrong, will Martin be imprisoned or perhaps face a terrible end? According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, there will be some crazy situations over the following 2 weeks, so keep checking back for updates on all the surprises that lie ahead. Sharon is delighted by Nick's London surprise in Phyllis's Wild Suspect. According to Monday, April 7th spoilers on The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman surprises Sharon Newman in London, and Phyllis Summers will consider a wild suspect. Here are the highlights of Monday's thrilling episode for YNR lovers. Victor Newman will meet Audra Charles in the Jazz Lounge and ask her if she wants to exact revenge on Kyle Abbott for undermining her at Glissade. Victor will advise that Audra can oversee the division of her choice and get her dream job once he makes a deal offer. Audra will nearly lash out in retaliation when Victor makes hints that he wants her to woo Kyle. Victor will then acknowledge that he is not sincere about a Kyle seduction scheme. Victor's only goal will be to reveal Kyle as the frail and cunning individual that he is. To draw attention to it, Victor will enlist Audra's help, which will undoubtedly impede Kyle and Claire Newman's romance. When Nate Hastings arrives and discovers that Audra and Victor are meeting, he will become suspicious. Nate will ask Audra about what's happening after she tells Victor that she will think about what they talked about. Red flags will be raised at society when Kyle avoids Claire's effort to bring up his problem-solving session with Jack Abbott. Claire will inquire as to whether Kyle and Jack handled Victor as part of their solution, but Kyle will refute this. Kyle will maintain that one employee sparked suspicions and make insinuations that other employees might have been involved in the business espionage. Kyle, however, will pretend that they are unsure of the perpetrator at this time and will advise Claire to refrain from assuming anything about Victor. They will make some happy predictions for the remainder of their evening after Kyle persuades Claire that they should prioritize themselves. She will be envious as she engages with the contented pair. Then Summer Newman shows up. As Claire and Kyle depart, Summer will stare at them, making it clear that she's having a hard time handling things. When Nick shows up at Sharon's house and says he's actually coming to London, she will be overjoyed. Nick will insist that he has made arrangements for the Newman jet to transport them to visit Noah Newman, even though Sharon will have her things prepared and ready for her travel with Faith Newman. Since Chance Chancellor will have some developments on their kidnapper, he will ask Phyllis to meet him at Sharon's house. An account linked to a psychiatric clinic in Paris was used to purchase the equipment needed to release the gas. Phyllis and Sharon will then recall that Ashley Abbott also had treatment at a clinic outside of Paris. Since Alan Laurent organized everything, his name will be brought up in this conversation. Chance won't say much about it yet, but Nick will see how he responds to that and get the impression that there are some suspicions about Alan. After Chance leaves, Phyllis will find it difficult to believe that Alan was responsible for the kidnapping and will argue that unstable Ashley might have planned it instead. Phyllis wouldn't rule out a double kidnapping given Ashley's recent breakdown and history of mental instability. Nick will revisit Chance's previous Alan response and consider the possibility that there may be some significance to it after Sharon considers Traci Abbott's peculiar recent actions. Phyllis will consider the possibility that Nick and Sharon should stay in Genoa City instead of going to London for their planned family vacation. Chance will encourage Summer to talk openly about her jealousy of Kyle's present relationship at society. Summer will eventually have a big breakdown and admit that she detests Kyle's relationship with Claire, despite her first denial. Summer will act as though she and Kyle were meant to live happily ever after as she launches into a tirade against Claire. Summer will finally be honest about the fact that she will never be able to move on after the loss of her ex-husband. Summer will wonder what will happen next when Chance hints that their own romance is unfair to both of them, even though it will look like she already knows in her heart. Kyle and Audra give in to bedroom temptation for 3 reasons. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles could give in to bedroom temptation for 3 reasons. Does the CBS soap opera have a controversy in the works? Victor Newman will encourage Audra to pursue revenge on Kyle in the episode airing on April 7th. Victor will provide Audra permission to manage a portion of Newman Enterprises in return. There is undoubtedly a benefit for Audra because she can essentially choose any ideal career path she desires. The only question is if Audra is prepared to put her trust in Victor and follow his instructions. It's important to note that when Victor makes any suggestion that Audra is enticing Kyle back into an affair, she will almost storm off. Victor will essentially pretend that he was kidding and say that he simply wants to expose Kyle's true nature, but Audra won't be amenable to seducing him. But according to YNR teasers, this entire arrangement might be problematic. Even though Audra has made an effort to stop any seduction attempts, she might reconsider if she's back in Kyle's sphere of influence. Kyle and Audra may ultimately give in to bedroom temptation for at least 3 reasons. Let's discuss how Audra and Kyle might end up letting their passions run wild. 1. Tense relationships force Audra and Kyle to be together. Because of Summer Newman's jealousy and Victor's disapproval, Kyle already has some issues with Claire Newman. Some outbursts could leave Claire and Kyle's romance hanging by a thread because things are only going to get worse in the upcoming weeks. Similarly, Audra might have problems with Nate Hastings because of her possible agreement with Victor and some upcoming Holden Novak drama. It's simple to see how Claire's rage may drive Kyle toward Audra, while Nate's rage could drive Audra toward Kyle. As a result, Kyle and Audra might find themselves going to bed together to gain some relaxation. 2. The old chemistry between Audra and Kyle rekindles. Naturally, if Kyle and Audra do sleep together, it might be for reasons more than simply finding solace and respite from their relationships. The genuine spark that existed between Audra and Kyle when they were dating could rekindle and make it impossible for them to avoid temptation. 3. Victor's deceit is successful. Because Victor is a skilled manipulator, he usually succeeds in getting what he desires. He might assume that by luring Audra in this way, she will eventually end up sleeping with Kyle again, despite her protests that it is not possible. Victor might believe that reintroducing Audra to Kyle's world will be sufficient to make them fall in love. Victor's involvement could be another factor in Kyle and Audra's renewed desire, as he may undoubtedly pull a few more threads to make sure it occurs. Stay in for updates on whether Audra will lead to news of a breakup between Claire and Kyle, as spoilers for The Young and the Restless indicate Victor will make more predictions about ending their romance permanently.